I'm Kevin Coleman at DuBois_22.
I'm Jeff Bell at For Whom J Bell Tolls.
And I am Christian Williams at C Williams NFL, and this is the Devy Royale's YouTube channel.
Welcome back to the Devy Royale YouTube channel. If you missed it last week, we covered the 2022 quarterback class. We went through 5 guys that we definitely looked at with strengths, weaknesses, landing spots, all of those things in there. So please check it out. This week, we're going to be covering running backs. And I think there's a lot of misnomers about these guys. There's a lot of question marks about these guys. And we're going to get told a lot this week, basically at the combine. But we wanted to kind of break it down for you guys and just talk about the guys that we like, maybe the ones that we don't dislike. But we're going to look at 4 this week. Our first on the docket is Breece Hall. Iowa State running back. You know, when you're looking at him in terms of just his prospects coming out of high school, he wasn't that highly touted. He was a three-star recruit, 247 Sports. He kind of did those type of things. Number 135 player. They actually wanted to redshirt Breece Hall his freshman year, but he just performed too well, you know, and we can put up the numbers for you here in a second. But he absolutely crushed it his freshman year, and he basically has led that team for 3 years for that running back position. I know that, you know, Christian likes him. I know that Jeff likes him, but I think we're all in this kind of understanding it's going to come down to draft capital for a lot of these guys. So, you know, Christian, what do you think about Breece?
Well, Breece is an interesting one because he's been ultra productive since stepping foot on a college football field. And sometimes that matters, right? So sometimes when you're productive in college, you just end up being productive at the NFL level. With Breece, though, it's been a high level of productivity, but based on volume. So people have legit concerns over some of the traits that Breece has. For example, he might lack in long speed, but we know that he can take nearly 300 attempts per year. So Breece is a guy that he's not going to wow you with the speed, but he is a technical runner. So I think, you know, as he bounces runs outside, I think he is short area bursty. And by that, I mean, I think that he can get you chunk yardage. I think he can get you 6 to 8 yards in any given carry because he's a big dude and he doesn't necessarily run like the biggest dude, but Breece is a guy that I struggle with. I go back and forth between him and Spiller as my running back 1 for some of the same, you know, concerns that other people have. Jeff, you're a Breece's RB1 person, right?
Yeah, I've got Breece as running back 1 right now. I'm in the same place too. You know, I think that they're 1A, 1B, and you know, draft capital, landing spot. I think could swing it between the two of them. I know people are very aggressive with their valuations of Breece Hall right now, and a lot of people are saying he's easily the 101 in one quarterback leagues. I'm not entirely there, and I think that there are fair questions about what kind of athlete he is, because I see some people out there that say he's the next Jonathan Taylor, and I don't think he's that level athlete at all. And he's a guy that at the combine, I think he's going to disappoint some people what he runs if they're expecting that level athlete. You guys know I'm the same school comp guy, so David Montgomery is the one that comes to mind coming out of that Iowa State program. We know that schools tend to recruit to their certain archetype, and he does kind of fit that same mold. I think he's going to be a productive NFL running back. He could be a 3-down back, and so that's what you really like to see about it, and that's what's intriguing about it. But again, that landing spot could really determine what kind of player he's going to be there. Kevin, do you have other thoughts?
No, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with him. Like, he's my 1B guy right now. And if we watch some film of him from last year, I mean, I like his vision, and I think that he has pretty good contact balance. He kind of reminds me of Monty. I mean, I know it's a lazy comp, but it's a real comp for me. Like, his ability to kind of see the road, I think he has a good vision here. You'll see it in here. He can run inside and outside. And I like that about him, but he doesn't have the top end speed that people I think are saying that he has. He just doesn't have it. And I don't think any of these guys have it. So if we're all being honest in the room, especially with these running backs, I think him, Spiller, all of them, that's why they're 1A, 1B to me, depending on what you think about each guy. But when you're looking at him, I think he can score touchdowns. I think he's going to be in the red zone. I think he's a running back too, though. Like, I see his ceiling as kind of being that high end running back too.
Yeah, and with With Breece, I think a lot of people questioned his ability to catch passes and be kind of like a three down workhorse. And what I would point you to is the efficiency that he has gotten as a pass catcher over the last
Yeah.
couple of years has been really, really good. He's actually, I mean, you see here, like he has a little bit of juice. He did get caught in that particular clip, but he can do that while catching the ball out of the backfield too. And he might not be running Texas routes and he might not be running wheel routes. You don't need your workhorse to be running those things for him to be an effective pass catcher. I think I think we mentioned it on a show. Kevin, it might have been you. I don't remember. We said it was like a Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders type of thing. And I think if like I start to like really break it down, Breece Hall reminds me a bit of Josh Jacobs, even in their play style. I think there's a little bit of Ezekiel Elliott to him. I don't think he's the same caliber of athlete, and I think that's where there might be some difference. But I think that he can be a viable, 40 catch type of guy at the next level. And that is, like you said, it's probably a high RB2, but I think you could sprinkle some RB1s in there too. I think ultimately a team is going to be really happy drafting him on day 2. They're not going to have to spend a first round pick on this kid because everyone kind of views the running back class in a certain way. So
Yeah, I love that Jacobs comparison because you see it on the clip watching that. It really does look like Josh Jacobs out there playing for Iowa State. There's certainly concerns on Josh Jacobs' pass utility, but he kind of put a lot of those to bed this year. And people haven't caught up to that. He was 5th in receptions out of running backs, and people say, well, he doesn't catch passes. But that is what it is. We're not going to have Josh Jacobs' day today. We've already done that. but again, I think you go back to it. Some major questions about what level of athlete, and also too, he's not a guy that Iowa State's offense wasn't splitting him out wide and seeing some of those things that I think that maybe can differentiate Spiller a little bit. Texas A&M did a little bit of that with Isaiah Spiller, while Breece Hall's role in the offense simply wasn't that. But again, a landing spot dependent player that could really step into a lot of volume. I'm concerned that if he slips, I think you kind of see some, I did a mock draft and I had him going to Baltimore in the middle of the second round because they're so dependent on their running backs. And if they're concerned about J.K. Dobbins coming back, they might invest in the position. San Diego's a team that they've been trying to, or not San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers, they've been trying to lock up that second back with Eckler. And if he's in there in round 2, they might do that to have a power complement to Eckler. So he's not guaranteed to land in a spot where he's going to be a consistent 3-down running back. He could land in a committee, and I think that needs to be factored into evaluation.
Yeah, it's funny that you say, like, I would hate those spots for him just as a Dobbins and Eckler guy, but it could happen because I forget what I was just on. I was talking to them like, hey, teams are going kind of that running back by committee, and with all the injuries that we've seen, they're valuing that second, third running back more. So we're gonna see more of this. I don't have like an ideal spot. I've seen the Cardinals get thrown around a lot. And I think you even did it on a Fantasy Pros article that you wrote with your top 10 guys, since I do read your stuff. So, I try to support what I can. But do you like that spot for him, Christian? Because I don't know if I like a Cardinal spot. I mean, I see people tout that spot a lot. But, I see the Bills, Cardinals. I just don't know what spot I like for him the best. But I don't know if I really like the Cardinals for him.
I don't really like the Cardinals for any running back. I think we saw Chase Edmonds get some some pass catching work, but ultimately, Kyler Murray is going to limit the touchdown upside of whoever's there. I know we didn't see that with James Conner this year, and maybe Breece takes all of Chase Edmonds, all of James Conner, and becomes like that would be a dominant RB1. I don't know that that's the route they're going to take, and I actually don't really like Breece within that offense. Just the different schemes that they run, and they run a lot of spread. They run a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, and so I'm not entirely sure what my ideal fit for him is. I think the Chargers make some sense as like a thunder to Eckler's lightning. I don't think they want to run Eckler as a workhorse forever, especially since he's already getting up in age. I did want to say too, I just looked up Josh Jacobs' relative athletic score just to kind of remember what he ran in the 40, and he ran a 4.64 and then got drafted in the first round. So things to think about. Running backs don't have to be fast to be good in the NFL. It's a plus for sure, but there are the Josh Jacobses out there that can still be effective, and I think Breece is that level of player.
Yeah, I do look at last year, though, and the backs that were taken in the first round. Najee Harris came back to school to improve his receiving, and he really showed that skill. He was a very valuable receiver in the Alabama offense, and he put beyond whatever you could ever ask for on tape. And then, Travis Etienne went in round one, and that was really Urban Meyer envisioning him as his Percy Harvin. So for these backs to catch first round draft capital, I don't know that they've put the receiving out there and the teams that are going to be there at the back end of the first round. I think that they're going to address essentially really what you see in the first round is teams address players who can make impacts in the passing game. And I don't know that they are going to decide with the depth of the defensive line and edge in this class, with the wide receivers available in this class, with the corners available in this class. It is a monumental task for me to see these guys catching first round capital because these teams have real needs that play in the passing game, and these players don't address that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'm doing a mock now. I don't have a running back going in the first, and I just don't. It's hard for me to put a running back there. It just is. This talent is loaded too on the offensive defensive line, and it's just like I think teams are going to do that. I'm not an expert, but I just look at that. So, right, well, hey, we appreciate you guys. We checked out Breece Hall for this one. We let you know, hey, kind of where they're at. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Next on the docket, I believe, is going to be Isaiah Spiller, so you be on the lookout for that, and we will check you guys later.